Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight UK Season 9, episodes 33 through 36, the final episodes of the season, Chris. Where would you like to start today?
Well, Dave, I'm not starting anywhere because we have a special guest, somebody who has had more favourable comments than we ever get in a series, Dave. Someone who deserves all the props. I'm just a bit worried about what she's going to say to me today, but we have Jo Russell on back by popular demand. It was only right to get you back on for the last episode. So, Jo, welcome to the show. Just lay into me. It's fine.
Oh, God. You want to start with your reality radar inaccuracy, or do you want to end with that? I mean,
going right there.
Hang on. Hang on a minute. I thought there was going to be an apology, not an inaccuracy. But go on, let's hear it, Jo. Let's hear this inaccuracy.
Let's start with, before we go into the highs and lows and how all my dreams shattered, let's start with your reality radar prediction when I did the episode with you, which was all the way back at the beginning, Sasha and Ross, Love's Young Dream, where your reality radar said, I've seen this before, Jo, and I know they're making so much of this celibacy. She's going to end up in bed with either one of the other grooms, or I don't know, what did you say, or somebody, I don't know what you said.
Alex or someone.
And that's a fact. You've not seen this before, Jo. You don't know what you're talking about. My reality radar always wins. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. So obviously, it wasn't a great relationship. Sasha got exposed. She wasn't the princess that we thought she was, or she portrayed.
That wasn't part of your prediction. Carry on.
But I'm standing by what I said, because the thing is with the radar, it is not for the length of the show. It is as long as I want it, so I can win the argument, really.
I'll take that. I'm too scared to apologise, Jo, but underneath somewhere.
You know what, Jo? Every week this has been on, and like Dave said, the Ekin-Su one is just the Hail Mary of all Hail Marys that made on. Yeah. And then when Sasha started turning like bad, I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get it. It's going to work. And then it fucking didn't. And I'm like, oh, no. So I will offer an apology. I do think what happened, Jo, I think there was some problems with the satellite of the radar in the sky. There's been a lot of things going on, especially around, elections and that, and, Tesla and stuff. I think they've been messing with the whole... Yeah, I don't know. I'm making it shit up, really. So basically, you may have been right.
Accept the apology. I wasn't sure it would come.
Yeah. Sorry, Jo. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's just move on from that inaccuracy. David, anything to add to that before we carry on?
No. It's just chuckling away here, smiling away, just to have the backup. Because usually you try and gaslight me into no. What the prediction actually was this different thing that I'm just about to make up as soon as I've thought of it.
I did hear on one episode, Dave. I did hear you trying to stick up for me, saying, "Oh no, that's not what you said, though, is it?"
Yeah.
And I think Chris just brushed you to one side and carried on as though you weren't there. And I was like, I'm getting back on this. I'm going to get back on this.
How dare the both of you? This is so wrong. It feels like I've got a left and right ear just laying into me. It feels like I've not put the bins out or not done the ironing or something. It's just not right. I'm getting in stereo. But anyway, Jo, we'll move very quickly onto that. As the way you started, you bought into Love's Young Dream and everything, and I was like, Dick Dastardly. I was twiddling my moustache, laughing, going, "Oh, if only you knew." So you're now at the end of the show. What do you think about the contestants and how you feel about it? Because I know, obviously, you said your co-host Sparky loves it, and he talked about the show, and you've come into it completely naive. I just can't wait to hear what you think of the whole show.
I mean, I'm I'm shattered that there's not many love stories to talk about in the final episodes. I tell you what the difference for me is, I still believe that most of them went in there for love. Not all of them. I still believe that most of them did, and it didn't work out. But what surprised me more than anything is there's only one person in the whole cast that's with any sort of dignity, and that's Nathan. He's the only one. Every single other person bell end. Like he's the only one. And you know what? From his wedding day, when he was up Lacey's sister, who knew that he would be actually the only one that I like? I don't mind Lacey to a degree, but my problem with her is when she gets together with Holly. Is it Holly and Polly, whatever they're called?
Holly, yeah.
When she gets together with them, she turns into a bit of a bitch, and it spoils her. She's lovely with him, but when she's with the girls, she turns into a mean girl. She kind of jumps on a bit on the bandwagon of the actual mean girls, and I don't like that in her. But she's certainly the best of the girls. I mean, the rest of them, Jesus Christ. I can't believe how they all turned. I can't get my head around the journey I've been on. I feel in a bit of a daze with it
all. So I think the thing is with this as well, John, you're right. This does happen a lot, and there is a lot of maths playbook stuff going on. The Australian one seems to be the sort of playground to where they bring new things in, but this sort of couples looking outside their relationship over the shoulder at the other couples, and like the cheating. There's been plenty of like cheating scandals recently, and that's the reason I jumped on, all jokes aside, the Sasha thing, because when they absolutely sort of keep saying this same thing, Sasha was saying they're labouring on it, and obviously even Paul pulled her and was like, this isn't celibacy, you're just not having sex. You're choosing not to. That's not what celibacy is. But it also, it just felt too much. And that's why when I have a rather long and big nose. So obviously I sniffed out the Ekin-Su and Davide thing straight away, thinking they're getting back together. I think maybe I had a sinus problem with this.
As if fucking Sherlock Holmes there was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening here. It was a fucking Hail Mary that just happened to come off.
It was the luckiest guess I've ever heard.
Oh yeah. I analysed the data and I came up with my hypothesis, of which I had 83% confidence.
Stop it! I was going well then. It sounded dead serious. I was trying to wiggle out of it. Joe, I told you I'd try and get out of it. But anyway, no. But with them, it felt. Sometimes when it's too obvious to us as the audience, it's like, oh, something's happening. When you get them within the first week saying they love him or something. Like there was a guy on. Was it the English one last year? And he'd read like a script, Joe, and he'd read like his vows. But at the end of it, he'd obviously got it online, and it said something like, "I love you" at the vows, and the bride just burst out pissing herself. Arthur, he pissed himself laughing, and even his family were laughing, going, "Oh no, what have you done?" Because he just got this off the internet or like a Chat GPT thing. Give me a speech for a wedding vows and all this. So. It when it plays like that, that's when I go, hang on a minute, we're going to see something, and then I will throw my prediction in. But I do think you're right. The thing is with Nathan and Lacey is Lacey's mum went full on Carry On Barbara Windsor at one point. We had the plunging cleavage. Oh, can you just paint this up there? And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Are we in some 70s, like, Confessions of a Payer and Decorator or something? It went bizarre, but I do feel, and we'll get to it at the end, some of the stuff they've asked them to do, they're not actors and actresses. So when the producers are giving them a direction and going, put this bit of clothing on or say this, it looks so false. And I think it's only when we get to the sort of commitment ceremony when the real personalities come out of a lot of these absolute blaggers.
And I think I've tried to push all the acting bits that they were forced to do to one side when I've made my like summing up on who I like and who I don't. And yeah, I mean, there's so much staged bullshit that's when I first started to go, oh, not what I it was going to be, because they are all being forced to say things and put themselves in different positions. And I don't necessarily like that. I don't like that in Love Island. That's the thing that makes me not care anymore.
Yeah,
I've been on a bit of a roller coaster, but I like Nathan and Lacey as a couple. They're the only ones. I mean, the rest of the shit.
So then, Dave, what about you then? So anything, I know obviously we've watched this, we and for Joe it's new, but anything more that stood out more than we always talk about? You know, just this series, I felt it's been more fabricated than any, and it didn't start off like that.
Yeah, I think the Lacey's mum and sister and Lacey herself, when they were getting Nathan to do the decorating, it was the shot where all three of them had a cup of tea and then at the same time took a sip from the cup of tea, and I was like, oh, fuck off. Like, you've just gone beyond the line now. But there was lots of that.
Around the staircase at the same time.
Yeah. All in bed together. It's just all just a bit weird. And so I think it was unnecessary. I think they've sort of jumped the shark a little bit there. So we want to believe it, even though we're, generally every week, Chris and I are just cynical as anyone, and we'll call it out. But there's a nucleus in us where we want to believe it. And when we see that shit, it just turns me off. I think the one thing we didn't see from the Maths playbook this time, or rather it wasn't edited in, was some kind of swapping scenario, some sort of cheating scandal. And I did see, and there seemed to be a lot of spoilers. I was trying to avoid them all, but I did see this one, that Hannah and Orson went on a date. It was all filmed and everything, but they just chose not to put it in. So that would have been this season's kind of cheating scandal, or other couple that, they both, they're in couples that vote leave, and then they come back as a new couple that the experts did not put together. But that's happened in the UK one, the Australian one, for the last, at least back to back, I would say, 5-ish seasons, Chris?
Yeah.
It's got to be on that order, hasn't it? So, and that's what makes.
Didn't put it in, though, surely the reason they didn't put it in is because they're so dull. Like those two. Yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike Orson, to be fair. I disliked Hannah a lot, but I didn't dislike Orson. But he was dull. They were just dull. They were dull as people, and they didn't offer anything. Yeah. And I think Hannah especially desperately clung on to, I need to be in this show. I need to, please. Because who would put themselves through the shit she allegedly went through and keep going back? And then she kept going back. I'm going to put myself in the lion's den again, this time with another man. This time I've got someone else. And you just think, what? Go home. Go home. Who needs this in their life? It's so stressy. Like all the episodes where she was fighting with people were stressy for me. I was like, this is not fun. It's not fun.
But she kind of had I felt a lot of sympathy for her, but I think it was edited to make you feel that way. Because what I found strange was, it wasn't just Holly and Polly were generally the ringleaders. Then, Lacey does chip in a fair bit, because she's so classy, as she says. But even like Christina, there was only really Emma who was sticking up for Hannah. And so it just makes me suspicious that, is this a gang mentality kind of thing? Or is there a lot of stuff from Hannah that we're not seeing, where she doesn't come off particularly well and she winds everyone up? Because, it was uncomfortable, wasn't it? When she turns up for the fucking girls' night, and, obviously Holly and Polly are having a right go at her. But, you're like, why would you turn up there? And for the final fucking commitment ceremony, why would you turn up with Nathan? Not Nathan. What was his name?
Ryan.
The other guy. Ryan, that's it. Why would you? You know how everyone's going to react, but you're so desperate for screen time. You just have to maximize that. So I think there's a lot of stuff that's off camera that we didn't see with Hannah.
I think so too. And she just didn't come across as a nice person. She didn't deserve all the crap that she got from the girls and that horrible that she walked into, I don't see what she did to deserve it. But I also can't think of a time when I thought she was a very nice person either. You know what I mean?
That's why we love this show. Hats off to casting.
Oh God.
It is though, because I'm with you, Hannah. Awful. I actually know somebody. I didn't realise, Dave. You know where she's got a gym? And I know this will mean a lot to you, Joe. Apologies. Is in Altrincham, where Dave used to live near me, and it's about 4 or 5 miles from my house, right? So apparently that's where a personal training studio is. So I was talking to someone the other week. We're out. They went, "Oh yeah, friend of my son's knows her. She's lovely, you know." And I'm like, "Has he watched the show?" And now he's watched the show. This bloke, he's in his 60s. He went, "She's horrible." And I said that to my son. He went, "No, she's really nice." And I'm like, I'm not sure about that. But for the purpose of the show, she was someone who I just didn't like from the get-go. She was a desperado when she was going around all the couples, and that Stephen, you know, over here and Stephen hated each other, trying to see who would have a bite. Olsen was the one who was like, we need to stay in this a bit longer. And there was a thing a few years ago, Joe, there was a Matt and this other girl where they were with other couples, and basically they just came back in from nowhere, you know, and they accepted him back in. The experts accepted him in, but it was a cheating thing, basically. You know, like the couples, they basically got together and then they sort of both left, but then they came in literally the next episode as a new couple, and it was like Hannah was doing everything she can. However, the hypocrisy of Holly and Polly, and Holly, especially because I'm born and bred Mancunian, it goes through me the way she speaks, and it really annoys me, because I know so many girls that speak like that, and it's just like, why are you being horrible? What is your problem? Are you jealous of her? What is going on? Why are you like the absolute sort of fountain of knowledge, the person that can judge everybody, when you were in an awful relationship with Alex and you were just there for the fame? And that's when the mean girls sort of bullying stuff coming, because her and Polly together are awful. And you're right about Lacey. Yeah, she did chip in as well, and it's probably one of them peer pressure things. Oh, I need to back them up, when maybe she didn't feel like that. But I have nothing but like, no, I was going to say, hey, I haven't got hate to any of them. I just think it's ridiculous, all absolute muppets. But Holly and Polly deserve all the flack they're getting, not in a bad way, not in a, you know, people to go after them, but any criticism they've got, I hope that after this they reflect on it and go, you know what, we were a pair of bellends. Because sometimes we're all bellends, no matter what you try and do in life. We can all do things better. As you get older, you certainly see some of the things that you did when you're young and you go, my fucking God, I was a dick, you know. And I can look back myself now, but that's comes with age. And I think them two is just like, you absolute pair of idiots. And that made Hannah like shine a light that Hannah's not all that bad. It was like the lesser two evils, but I didn't like Hannah, as you both said. It was a bizarre series, and how the experts allowed it. And Paul gave that bullshit excuse that, yeah, I had a right go at Polly in that off camera. Well, why the fuck didn't they show it? What story are you trying to show? Are you trying to show these contestants as bullies? Because that's exactly what's gone on here. You've just basically.
There was one of your episodes where you were talking about how they were kind to Alex and tried to make out that Holly was doing bad things as well. And that didn't seem fair. But the problem that you've got with a show like this is that they actually have a duty of care to everybody, and that includes the bullies. It actually includes Alex. They had to dampen down, even though they'd shown us it and they'd edited it in a certain way, even though they'd shown us, and he was horrible. And even though they showed him that way, they have a duty of care to not leave the show so that the public are on his back. So they had to go, oh, but you also made mistakes, Holly. And at the time I thought, I'm not in the same league as him. So why are you, they were trying to make out it was equal. And I didn't think it was. But if they'd have gone for Alex, that gives the public, when he leaves, permission to really go for him. And they have a duty of care to not let that happen to the arseholes as well. That's part of it. And that's why I think we didn't see the experts come down on these people as much as we wanted to, because now with all the mental health stuff, they're not allowed to create the villains. like they used to be able to back in the day. They could. I mean, if you remember back in Big Brother, it used to be, which one do you hate? Get them out. And that was the advertising campaign. It was like, and now it's always vote to save. Who do you love the most? Vote to save, vote to save. It's never vote to get them out because these are twats. It's really flipped round over the last, I would say, 5 or 10 years. And that's why Alex has come out, I think, not looking too bad some of his socials, and he's acting like nothing's happened, and maybe they've left him that way and he's not gone back to the reunions and all of that stuff so that he can have an okay life instead of being attacked, verbally on social media.
Well, Joe, and you're right, and I think that the duty of care, a lot of like the baddies in these shows, that's when they failed them afterwards. So you're right, they're painting a narrative, and there can be some clever editing there, but when someone's behaving like that, there's only so much someone can. I mean, I edit a lot of videos, and there's not, you're thinking, well, there's material there's probably even worse things that's on the cutting floor. But you're right, that's something that really has to be addressed if you're going to have someone as a baddie. I mean, I remember there was a girl in the Australian one a couple of years ago, Joe, and I know you didn't see it, she was awful. Once you Dave, Olivia, she was awful. Oh my God. Talk about lying. And you remember Roxanne Pallett in Big Brother, Joe, where she, that Adam thing is, and she said, he's Ryan Thomas said, oh yeah, well, he hit me and all that. And it was like, yeah. And it was like, come on, you're on a show. We've all seen it. And it basically finished her career. This Olivia was in that realm of, oh my God, she's just done something to me. And this other girl, Dominique, about like it was awful. She was an awful contestant, but she got some backlash. And then after slagging this girl off for being on OnlyFans, creates her own OnlyFans at the end of it as well. And it was like, oh my God, me and Dave were obsessed by this girl for about a month afterwards. That series left an absolute mark on us because she was the ultimate baddie. Honestly, she's like the J.R. Ewing of bloody, that's a good callback, isn't it? But, proper baddie all the time. What a callback that is.
Keep up those pop culture references. Relevant and up to date.
Who shot him, though? I think it was his sister-in-law, Kristen. I used to watch it all the time, but there you go. Anyway, but Joe, we've gone 20 minutes and a Dave, and I know we're talking, and it's brilliant to get your perspective, but this week has only been about one couple and one line of dialogue, which I never thought we would have you on, Joe, to talk about Amy and Luke. But that, for me, was the greatest line in maths or reality TV history. I don't know where to start because you're a lady, but I'd like you to take the lead on this, Joe. And what did you think after that comment?
I mean, honestly, I burst out laughing. I proper belly laughed because it was when they kept all repeating it. So you really did say, I want to terrorize the bumhole, whatever he said. And then they all kept saying it. You didn't say terrorize the bumhole, did you? Did you say terrorize? And I was like, why are you all keeping saying it? Why is this happening? It was amazing that was the fucking narrative. But how dumb is that guy? I mean, Jesus.
I mean, Amy, he's an absolute blackguard anyway. But I mean, from a health and safety point of view, if she was cooking some at boiling water, it's also a fire hazard potentially.
Can you imagine her just turning round? The fuck are you doing?
I gotta burn myself.
It's okay. Just look forward again. Not doing anything here.
Let me tell you, from a woman's perspective, didn't feel romantic, that letter.
Oh my God,
So the thing is, I mean, Chris and I were talking. Was it I think it was yesterday, and I was saying,
laughing.
Luke is. I mean, it was the first thing we could talk about. But he's almost, to me, a manifestation of a character out of a Jackie Collins dirty novel or something. He's almost perfect, but he just gets it so wrong. And then when she was talking about the letter, I mean, we have to talk about the dumping as well. I mean, talk about fucking dramatic. Turning it up like you go into a funeral, doing the old head tilt, deceased. We'll come back to that. But he's writing this lovely little note, I really enjoyed our time and everything. And as she's saying it, I can imagine him saying it in a soft, seductive way. And then he finishes it off like that. Yeah, my only regret. And again, you're thinking he's doing well here, he's doing well. And I think he'd captured the whole nation's heart as well. He was getting things wrong. He was a bit cringy. But yeah, that fucking line and his first language isn't English, but he's managed to choose a combination of words that is just magical. Sometimes you put it together and it's like peanut butter and jam or something. It just fucking works. Or peanut butter and chocolate. Or probably should have stuck with the jam, actually. He's chosen those words to terrorize, which is a really fucking violent thing. It's not a sensual thing at all. Your bumhole. And it's like, fuck me, I am done. I am dead. Greatest moment. It used to be the Love Island, I licked her tit or whatever. Now, best comedic line is Luke's line there. Loved it.
I couldn't get my head around these two at all, because she was as much of a twat, I think, as he was. Yeah. Like he didn't listen. He didn't take any advice. Like when she said, look, like, cause they obviously were having sex a lot because they spoke about it a lot. So when she said, that's fine, look, this is all fine in the bedroom, but I don't want you talking about it. I don't want you, licking spoons in public, in that way. I don't want all of this shit.
But even when she's like protesting with him, you're saying he's not listening, and it's all coming out when they're on the couch. And he's saying, yeah, well, I have done that. And Amy's like, no, he's not done that. And he's like, well, not your butthole, but, he's
crazy
just not reading it.
Yeah, he couldn't. When they said, you can't read the room, can you? He didn't really know whether he could or not. He just looked a bit vacant, like, well, I'm still going to carry on this way. They just weren't, compatible. It was as simple as that. Like, he wants PDA, she doesn't. Simple. They weren't for each other.
But the thing is, and you're right, both of you are so right, is the fact that he was fucking outraged that he was getting called out for saying this. That's what made me laugh. And I said to Dave, like, we love The Office. And it just reminds me of one of the first ever Office episode, David Brent, when it's like his friend's daughter's living room, or whoever it is, it's not his daughter, is it Dawn, actually? Whoever it is, he says, I'm not going to have this banded around willy-nilly. It was like, he was outraged that people were like, and then I saw Kieran, who I think's a bellend, but you could see he had a tissue on his eyes. He was crying. That must have took ages to film that, because they were in absolute stitches, the contestants. And what gets me, it was her, like Dave just said, what really topped it off and tipped me over the edge, and I was absolutely in stitches, is her. Anyway, he's never done that. He's never done. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you even saying? This is a car crash. And
like, no one's ever been near it. No one's ever been near it.
Especially when I'm making pasta. Never. It's just ridiculous. It was the greatest line.
But I've got to say about her, about Amy, the thing for me about her is all the stuff that she didn't like about him, like all the cringe stuff and him being over sexual in public, I get, like, it was fucking awful. But when she was saying he's a liar, and I was like, but he's lied about how many girlfriends he's had. Who gives a shit? He's a bloke. And we've all got a history. Like, I didn't understand why she was so obsessed with, oh, well, yeah, he's lied about it. He said 2 and then it turned out to be 8 and it might be more. Who cares? You've only just met him. Who cares? All the stuff that she was bothered about. I just thought, what? I don't understand. Like, why aren't the experts saying it doesn't matter? These little things don't matter. I didn't really get her at all in the end.
I kind of, in my mind, I guess I think, and I don't think she came across very well at all. I think she kind of got up in her own head, and that was it. You know, once she'd latched onto this thing, she was getting more and more bothered by it. I think it was like a cumulative thing after so many times, because the whole thing with the picture, I mean, you're not telling me that wasn't set up by production as well, because she went straight to that picture of all of the pictures that he had, you know, and she's just like spots, you know, again, Sherlock Holmes style.
No one cuts somebody out of a picture. Just take the fucking picture down.
Exactly.
You don't cut it in half and cut yourself back up like that. That's not normal behavior. You just, I don't want her to see that picture, so I'll take the picture down. Like it was so set up. But did she know that was set up? Is she stupid? I couldn't really come to grips with. I couldn't come to grips with the others not realizing things were set up. Do you see what I mean?
I think the producers or the people who accompany them, you know, because there's a big entourage, isn't there? The people who film the sound and everything. There must be like story writers almost there, and just quick word in the ear. You know, they do it in a very subtle way, but I feel like. I think outside they might have been able to get away with it, but I feel like it's just the little lie. Everyone on this show, I think in the back of their mind, I mean, there's a huge hypocrisy to it, because I don't personally believe anyone or any of the people here on this season go on, you know, not thinking about the career that they could have, you know, outside of the show. And the meeting someone is like a byproduct. It's a necessary thing, and you might meet someone, and if so, great. But that's like the bonus part, not the main reason you're going on the show. But in the back of everyone's mind, they're thinking, I wonder if this other person is here for the right reasons. Or are they just here like me? I secretly am, but no one else is. It's okay for me, but it's not okay for them to just be there for the career. And if you keep getting peppered with these little tiny white lies, because the how many girlfriends have you had? That was only one. It seemed to be a consistent theme. She probably was wondering, like, who is this person really? Or is he just saying the things that he thinks I want to hear? And so as soon as that gets in your head, I think, and you let it and you fester on it, you know, and let it get to you, I think that's, from what I saw, that's where Amy was.
Yeah, and I take that. But they did all, her and her friends rounded on him when they had that date.
That was horrible.
Where he went, it was horrible. I felt really bad for him, because it was done on purpose. It wasn't a very nice thing to do. He was right when he said she had an agenda. She couldn't. They'd said to him, "What do you do for a living? What's your past jobs?" And he'd given 3 or 4. So they didn't need to keep pushing him to make him look bad. And I felt for him then, but he never did himself any fucking favors at all throughout the whole journey. I've got to say though, I did at one stage think they were going to be the Ekin-Su and Davide of the series. And they were going to get back
Poundland version
at the end, and then we'd have them on social media turning up at premieres for 6 months before they went their separate ways. But yeah, I was wrong about that. I thought that's what they were aiming for. And she kept saying, liar, liar. And I thought, oh, hello, we've heard this before.
I think with them two, I think because of what was happened this week, she's not a nice person. And I'm with you, Joe. Like I said it today, I couldn't get my head round, like, I mean, he didn't help himself, because he said to her 5, he'd had. And then when they interviewed him straight after on the camera, he went, well, let's say 15. And I'm like, why? I mean, you said it, Dave, didn't you? Is he James Bond? Is he a secret agent? Has he got like 20 children all over Malta or something? You know, like, I mean, he's a big Manchester United supporters club. Are they all running the club? All his kids or something, like what they're doing? I couldn't get my head around why he wanted to tell her. Maybe it was a respect thing. Maybe he'd gone that deep at the start, saying like, you know, maybe he said to her at the start, yes, I'm a virgin, you know, or something. And then as slowly it's like, hang on a minute. But who would have a picture of an ex cut out on there. That's like the production has gone on his socials, got this picture and went, can we use this? And we're going to cut it out and print it. Like watching a film where you see two people who obviously never been together and they get a picture of them when they were kids and they go, oh, look at us when we were kids having a great time, or when they were, married or whatever. And it's like, you can clearly see that's a CGI or a Photoshop picture. And I was like, that's just bullshit. And I know we've talked about the end, but I hated that end bit with them two. The commitment ceremony thing. She's wearing black. The producers have given her that. They've given her the speech, because that speech was bullshit. It felt, because Sam said that, she went, he's smirking. And I said, you know why? Because they've probably refilmed it. They've probably refilmed it 3 or 4 times. Why would she purposely go, I tell you what, let me get my best funeral outfit with a veil. I mean, imagine her at someone's funeral. That's not a family turning up in an outfit. You'd be like, oh my God, you were trying to make it all about yourself. You're trying to mourn someone's passing. And you basically, you know what she reminded me of? I love Beverly Hills Cop 2. Bridget Nielsen wears a very similar outfit at the start of Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that outfit is bullshit. You would never wear that to a funeral unless you want to make it about yourself. And the thing, it's dead. And I'm like, fuck. But what annoyed me was, everyone was buying into it, going, oh my God, that's terrible. And I'm like, you absolute clowns on this show. And you think us as an audience are going to buy this utter horseshit? Like, honestly, she is well, yeah, it was so fucking fake. The whole thing was fake. That has not been done in one take. And that's where the editing and the bullshit was. I was like, you know what? I'm glad this is the last episode, because I'm out now. This is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it got a bit silly, didn't it? It started to get silly.
Yeah, it was so popper bollocks that at the end. That was like, Kat Slater getting one over on Phil Mitchell or Alfie or something, going, oh, I'm going to get him back at the altar. He's cheated on me. And it's like, oh, and they get to the altar and then it's like, no, because of this, or I was waiting for it to get a fucking throw a drink in his face, like what happened with Polly. We need to talk about that actually. But yeah, I just felt that the whole commitment stuff at the end for all of them was just, it was so far fetched. I was like, oh, this has just gone beyond any sort of reality. It was at like 1% in my mind. And at that point, I was like, as Dave told me a few months ago, he did a Fonzarelli and jumped the shark. He basically the show went. So I was so frustrated this week, I must admit, at the end.
How do you two feel about the Polly and Adam situation? Because Sparky, the guy I worked with, he, to me, I don't think he's seen the last episode yet, but he said to me the other day that he's completely flipped and he now really likes Adam and thinks Polly's the twat. And I was fighting, going, no, that what you've got to remember is they're both twats. Both of them, not just one. Yeah. You can't say that what he's done has been fine just because she's now turned into a big psycho, and she has. And
I'm glad you said that.
We couldn't have said that, Joe, but well done, you said it.
But she has. I feel bad. What I felt for her was actually felt really sorry for her, because how desperate was she? Like, to stay with somebody who clearly did not like her at any stage, and she just turned into this shouting at him, you're an arsehole, you're a twat, you never listen to me, blah blah blah, but we get on so well, let's stay together. She just turned into a twat. But I think he was an equal. For me, they were equal twats, and I've definitely not flipped to thinking one was better than the other. I think they both. There were times when I felt a bit sorry for him, and I never thought I would at the start of this, but actually over the series, equal twat corner as far as I'm concerned.
Do you want to go first, Chris?
All right, okay. So I'm with you, Joe. I don't think there was a point where I felt sorry for him, and I said it on the podcast, but I do think that he wanted to get, as he said, he dates Michelle Keegan lookalikes. Obviously, work things. He was single, going on a reality show, and it was after like this Megan Fox type brunette, and then they give him. That sounds awful. They pair him with Polly, who's ginger, not a completely different look. She wasn't, she's a good-looking girl, but also I think what wasn't good about her was her personality. Like, she called him a see you next Tuesday. Everything she said was. For the first half of the show, he was an absolute bellend, and I felt for her. But then when she inserted herself in some of the other couples' arguments and she got in with Holly, the nasty mean girl bullying crap come out. And then I was like, well, you deserve all you can get. And then at the end, by the end of this whole thing, I was like, you're an absolute wanker, you. Like, you are an awful person. You really need to watch this program and self-evaluate. But he doesn't get off scot-free because he 100% wanted a bit of Amy. 100%. As I said a few times, he made a fucking egg on toast and was telling us as if he was Marco Pierre White. And she bought into the fact that he made a breakfast fucking toast or something because Luke didn't. And I'm like, I don't get it. You've got a male model there who looks like a James Bond and looks like James Bond. And then you've got these guys who's got a fucking basin head haircut who's supposed to be a hairdresser with all the, I mean, I'm covered in tattoos now, but he's got all the fucking cliche tattoos and all that bollocks. You know, he's got the turkey teeth. It's like, you know, they're all off to fucking Marbella or Ibiza with his pals every year. And he'll be doing that when he's like a Wayne Lineker's age. So you're going out there. You can clearly see that. But he ended up, you're right. I think I can understand what Sparky's saying. I did feel sorry for him, but I also felt that he's very petty. When they argued, he doesn't listen to her at all. Even if she's right, she doesn't articulate it correctly because she just goes from 0 to 100 and absolutely goes on the front foot. But I felt the way he deals with her was just childish and he just don't like any criticism. So yeah, I agree. Pair of absolute bellends, this couple.
I think that Adam has got a not a terrible edit. And actually, the experts or the ornaments, because they're fucking useless, didn't call him out on anything, any of his behavior. And I think, in particular, in that last dinner party, some of the stuff that he said warranted a fucking glass of wine in the face. I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. I thought, well, the way he approached it there. And he went full on sort of villain again, but he was never really called out for it. And the center of attention was Polly, and it was made out, but she's the one who ends up apologizing for her behavior, and he doesn't say anything. So I do think I agree. I think they're both fucking bellends. I mean, the thing I'd say about Polly, it's not as if she's only, you know, when she turns nasty, it's not as if she's only gone for Adam. You know, we saw it early doors when she was going for Charlie, and you're like, fucking hell, you know, you've just gone for it there. You've heard one person's opinion, and you've fucking launched at this other person, calling her a bully and everything without the
Paul
facts.
spent a lot of the series going to various people saying, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, I shouldn't have thrown."
Well, maybe actually fucking learn from your behavior.
Yeah,
you know?
But
yeah, I thought it got really, really nasty from Adam's side. I mean, the stuff he was saying about, oh, you know, you were there, why won't you fuck me and whatever. I'm like, you fucking bellend, like, you know. and like you said, Joe, you sort of feel for Polly in a way, because you're like, why would you put up with this shit? And you could see it.
You can't be that desperate. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and her friend was actually pumping out the best advice. You know, he seemed to actually see it for what it was, where he could see through all the little excuses that Polly was making for Adam's behavior. Because, you know, again, periodically, I think he had a decent middle part of the season, but, you know, any slightest whiff of a bit of criticism for him, it's like, that was really fucking muggy, that is. It's like, fuck off, you child. But yeah, what a fucking, I tell you, it should not have been paired together in the first place, probably, but for maths, fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Excellent.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, I've gone full circle on this series, and now I'm like, oh, I mean, it was such a good series. I enjoyed it all. But I'm exhausted with my emotions, because I've cried at times with these couples. I've cried with them, and I feel exhausted. I do want to say that there is something that the experts said that I cheered at, and I know you're a real downer on these experts, but I actually quite liked them at times. And who's the guy? Paul,
yep. Yeah.
So Kieran, the bellend, and Christina. Throughout the last few weeks, I have been saying to myself, everything you're saying about Christina and what a great woman she is, and she's amazing. I'll never meet anybody like her in my life. She's brilliant. I'll never forget her. I kept shouting, then why aren't you together? Why aren't you with her? And then when Paul, right on the last show, said to Kieran, just explain to me, after all these things you've said, why are you not with her? Like it none of that made any sense. And when Paul said that, and Sid just very calmly said, can you just explain why you're not with her? Because that feels ludicrous. I was like, yes, Paul, come on. Yeah, you've redeemed yourself for me now at the end of this, because you've said what I needed somebody to say to this idiot. Because everything that he was saying about Christina was everything he's in a woman. And then, and then it wasn't her. It was just bonkers. I still can't get my head around that thing at all. And she just said, well, he just didn't want me. And but I think it makes it worse to say you're perfect. Just so you know, you're amazing, you're brilliant, you're perfect, you're everything I want. Don't want you, don't want to be with you. But just so you know, and because as a woman, I would go, well, I'm not then, am I? I'm not. Because you don't want me. It's so confusing. I think that's worse than saying, do you know what? Actually, we're just not very compatible. That's better for me, because I go, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. We just don't fit. But what he was saying to her was, you're everything I want, but can you fuck off, please? I don't know I don't know how you've left me. You've left me so confused.
I feel like that sort of happens a lot, doesn't it? In movies and stuff and TV, also in real life. You must have had it at some point in the past where people will say, oh, you know, why can't I just find someone like you? And you're like, well, what about me? No, don't be silly. You know?
Yeah.
David, I can't get my head around it. And I couldn't with them two. I couldn't understand what had got. I still don't think I really know what went wrong there.
So my theory is
at them at some stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when she walked off because she couldn't like let herself, and I think the reunion is like a month or so after, so it's still pretty raw. Yeah, and you know, when he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's sort of with someone for like it was only a short thing, like 2 or 3 weeks." Something. I'm like, "Fucking hell, mate!" And he was doing the Luke thing there. He was trying to dumb that down a bit. I feel as well. So yeah, definitely tear jerking. I honestly think he's just trying desperately to come out like the good guy. But if you think of the first, if you think of the first 2 or 3 weeks, like they were so good. And I just, and again, got no evidence. It's just a reading of the situation and trying to join up and make logic, make joins between the things that we're not seeing. But I think she talks about her PMDD and that she knows that when it hits her, like she is really bad. She's difficult to be around. And I feel like, Kieran's just saw a potential future where he doesn't have the capacity to deal with that on a sustained level. But he won't actually just come out and say it. And I don't know, how would you say that? This is your, deepest insecurity. But that's actually the thing of why I don't see there's a future together for us. I could be way off. He could be just an absolute blackguard and was never into it at all and was just fooling us for the first few weeks. But there was a definite turn. And that Cole's sort of bullshit was the first little indicator that, hang about. It's not all roses here.
I fell for that though, Dave. I've got to say, I fell for the coleslaw thing.
Right, Joe. I was
still into that one. The love.
Well, I would say this. I said from pretty early on, Kieran's an absolute bellend. He's a faker. He's a fake nice guy. He wasn't into her. You're right, Dave. He hasn't got the capacity because he's a selfish wanker. And the whole thing about, hugging her and all that bullshit at the fucking reunion, what a load of horseshit. He was just on it for himself. When there was times when they split up and he came back, his level of noise, and he was so boisterous, went up tenfold. Like I was like, oh fuck me, you definitely should be on Geordie Shore. I've watched that show for so many years, and you watch it religiously. And like, yeah, you're another one of them. You're friends with all the Geordie Shore crew, 100%. This whole bullshit. Oh, I live in a fucking cabin in my garden and all this stuff. And then it's like, fuck off. His mum was just solely. There was a strange dynamic. Well, he is, yeah. He's got the haircut, but yeah, but jokes aside, he was fake, and I think he got exposed. And yes, look, I said it before. Watch that Vicky Pattinson show, and she has the same condition, and she says, like, she was getting married, and she said, I am completely unreasonable. The week before, a menstrual cycle starts and everything, she said, I really, really struggle. I end up going from like accusing my partner of cheating. I become so insecure. Why do you want to be with me? And we can never comprehend that, Dave. As men, we can't. That is, and watching her journey, and then when obviously that time passes and she's like so apologetic, that for someone to cope with, especially if you're going into a show just for yourself, like obviously Kieran was doing it. He's gone into the show thinking, one, he's probably going to get a bit of action. He's going to get a bit of followers. He's going to get some exposure, get himself out there. And they've put him with a contestant who has, a condition he hasn't got the tools to cope with. So he's gone in it going, oh, fuck, this isn't what I signed up for. I thought by the end of it, I'd say, I don't want to be with you, but I've gained 10,000 followers and I've got another TV show lined up. I think that's what's happened. He's probably got into it going, oh, actually, they do want to put me with someone that I'll actually need to stay with or potential. And that's where I think that fakeness of just going on a reality show, because ultimately, how have these people got on this show? They've got on it via connections, via a talent agency. Someone's representing them to get them on this show. I know at the end of the show, they go, oh, would you like to be in the next series? Please sign up. It doesn't work like that. And I genuinely think there may be the odd one, but why would Christina then go, I tell you what, I have this condition, which is, it's really affects her. It's a disability in some respects. Why would I'll go on a reality show and see if they can pair me up, because I'm not having any luck in the real world. This just, even her, that's why I question the whole thing. It's such a thing to put on him, but he's a complete dick because he's selfish and was in there for himself. That's my opinion anyway. But there you go. I've ranted now because I just didn't like him after the first few weeks. I was like, you're a fake nice guy and you're an absolute bellend.
It took me longer than you to not like him, but I'm definitely with you. I just didn't get him at all in the end. I thought he just made me question everything he'd done and said, because none of it seemed to match up. So I was thrilled when Paul said at the end, you're saying all these great things. Why aren't you?
Yeah. And I get what you say, Deb. You're right, Joe. I get what you say, Deb. It's not a thing. It could be that. He's just trying not to upset her, but here we are where we are. But anyway, are you ready for Where Are They Now? Are they together?
Oh, well, should we just say some of the other ones who weren't there? So Stephen, obviously, turned up for a free meal and a few glasses of wine. Absolute bellend. I thought he was worse than most of the people on there, and I don't know why he didn't get called out more. Who else didn't? Rochelle. I mean, that would have been entertaining, wouldn't it, if she'd have turned up? But she was obviously just done with the show.
Yeah, she for me did what normal people do. She was like, oh, "What? I'm not fucking going back. Why would I go through that shit? I'm happy to get on with my life." That for me was normal behaviour.
Yeah, I mean, I think she stretched it a bit. She went a bit further, calling Orson a fucking cretin and stuff. He's simple. So that's why I thought it'd have been good if she was at the dinner party, just calling all these fuckers out for what they are. But yeah.
But I do think you were right, though, Dave. I think her family have entered her into it because she's had no luck, and she thinks she's getting somebody. She gets on the show, and there's Orson there turning it on for the cameras. I think what she was saying was right. Knowing what these shows are like, he absolutely played into it. But it's like she'd never watched a reality show. It's like, you've still got to toe the line. You've still got to play up to she's having none of it. So it came across in the edit, and she was wrong in a lot of the times the way she dealt with Orson. She was out of order, but I do feel that it was more out of frustration, where she's like, why the fuck am I on this fucking set? Why am I being directed by these? I think she was, Yeah, I think I do. I'm not saying, cutting it because some of the things she was terrible. Like Cretin's another great line. What a line to bring back. But I feel from her point of view, like you said, Joe, she was a normal person. It's like, why have I ended up coming on this show? This is not what I signed up for. By the end of it, she was just mentally exhausted. Like I say, doesn't cut what we saw. The edit can only give her so many bad or good edits, but because she was, her language at time was inappropriate. But I felt that she was almost like I'm going to say this now and sound like a dick, but she was almost like a bit of a hero of the show. It felt like me or you or someone had got on the show, Dave, and like, fuck off, I'm not putting up with this shit. You're black. You're playing us at the camp. That's why I was sort of in support of her. But watching it as a show, she was completely out of order the way she spoke to Orson.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's probably my number 3 top moments when she was calling him a cretin on the couch. Then I think for number 2, it's Kieran rocking back and forth in the corner with the glass of wine in the fetal position, crying his eyes out, and then it flashing up with, if you'd like to apply for a future season of Maths. That was my second one.
So much. And then when you said it on the podcast that week, I laughed. I cried laughing again. Like, it was such a moment for me. And it was just like, cry, 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 sob, 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 beat. Who wants to come and be in this show?
Yeah. Who wants a mental breakdown?
So much. Yeah, it's so funny.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So where are they now? So here we go. Polly and Adam. Do we think they're still together?
No.
Dave?
Not. No, definitely not.
You are correct. So that's 1-1 for both of you. This one, if you get this wrong, then I'm wrapping up the podcast now. Rochelle and Orson.
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay. No, keep going. There's a reason why. Casper and Emma.
No.
Okay, Dave.
Can I just short circuit my votes and just say none of these fuckers are together? is my prediction.
No. Okay.
Even the ones in the reunion who were together, I just can't see it.
Okay, so we're 3 for 3 now. And you're both right. It's 3-3 all. Christina and Kieran.
No.
Okay. 4 for 4. Okay. Even Charlie.
No.
5 for 5. Unbelievable. Can I have the lottery numbers off you both? Alex and Holly.
No.
Oh, I think, I think I saw something about this speculation.
I do a reel or an Insta story or something together, but I don't think they're together.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yep, I'm with you. I am going to say no, but I know there was speculation that they might have got back together.
Well. There is more than speculation that they're back together, Dave. They've been holidaying. They've been out together. They've been doing it. And he keeps putting my ex-wife. There's a lot of things. So the rumor is they are together. So I'm putting that as a strike against both of you. Okay. The most likely couple, they are allegedly together, which is unbelievable for me. That was the one couple I'd have bet my mortgage on not being together, but there you go. Nathan and Lacey.
Together. Please tell me they're still together, please.
Nope. I don't.
Not together, Joe. Dave's gone ahead because they split up. Literally, as the reunion finished, they announced that it had fizzled out. I can't believe that.
Oh,
yeah.
Honestly.
Yes, honestly.
I feel like you two are winding me up because that.
Honestly, I'm not. Honestly.
Now I feel like I did at the start of the series when I was like, you two don't know what you're fucking talking about with this show. Are they really not together?
Honestly, literally within days of the reunion and literally when it was filmed, the relationship was over. Unbelievable.
I can't wait. I've got to have a stiff drink.
No, well, to be honest, To be honest, I think Nathan's got with her mum, but they
just desperately trying not to throw out a carry-on line on the stiff drink thing, but
he's doing it. He's got a decorating job at her mum's. We've not seen him for weeks, but there you go. Right?
He's locked him in the basement. Joseph Richard style.
Ross and Sasha.
No, I know this. I know the answer to this because I after the reunion, I went and followed them both on Instagram and then immediately unfollowed them both. Because I was like, oh no, these are not for me at all. So I know that they are not together.
Okay, Ryan and Sean.
We need to come back to them as well. We didn't discuss them, did we?
Yeah, I feel we didn't see a lot. That there was a lot we didn't see, and they were desperately trying to make him, because he was deaf and actually came across as lovely, when he was being filmed. I actually think he came across as lovely. I think they wanted to keep him that way. And I think they're for each other. I think their arguments were clearly crazy, toxic, and inflammatory and fiery, and it wasn't going to work. Yeah, when she said leave, I was like, oh shit, shit's going down here that we don't know about. And they were never, and also he was never gonna work moving to Walsall with all her family just staring at him. Treat her like a princess. Treat her like a princess. I was like, oh god, okay. It was a bit scary. The whole thing was a bit scary.
The fucking League of Gentlemen, wasn't it?
It was really bonkers. But I don't think either of them have come out well, because I really liked him up until the last week or so. But now they can both kiss my ass.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. It felt like the only way that someone can get with Sasha is if they can bench over 100k on the bench press. That was about it with her dad. Very
in the
bizarre.
Local Walsall gym.
Yeah, the local Walsall gym. But ridiculous. But so they are not together. Ross has got a new partner. He's very happy, and I think Sasha has as well. But Sasha's been seen out with Alex as well. Like they played up to the whole thing when he said, "I drive past you in my Range Rover," and he picks up your Range Rover as a bit of an Instagram.
No, Sasha, Chris, I don't know if you've seen, she's turned to the church, hasn't she?
Oh, was she?
So she just got baptized or something, and she's given her life to God. And I'm not doing that for a funny line. That's what's happened. That's what's happened. She's turned to God, and she won't be having sex with anybody else until she's married again.
Right. So
what she said. That's why
as a Catholic boy. Yeah, as a Catholic boy, it brought up, and I'm not saying anything. The podcast will be cancelled, right? Like, carry on.
I'm also staying quiet on this one.
Yeah, fucking shut up, Chris. Shut up. Fucking hell. There's nothing more bent than a church. But anyway, carry on. Right, so.
Especially his last fucking week. But anyway, moving on.
Unbelievable. So, Hannah and Stephen.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Never in a million years.
No. Ryan and Sean.
No, never in a million years. That was another one we didn't see a lot of.
Yes, there was something uncomfortable about that.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was a lot more going on there that we didn't see.
No, and you're right. There was some weird stuff. And then the last one, and I've saved these last for a reason, is Luke and Amy.
Oh, fuck off. Don't you dare tell me they're together. Chris, I promise you, I am done with this. Oh my God, please, this is my Ekin Sue and Davide moment, isn't it?
Well, no, she's walking like a cowboy now, because I think he did get his wish. No, he didn't.
The trouble is, if they ever got back together, the whole nation just now has a mental image of what's going on behind closed doors. Well, they can never ever get back together.
Chris, tell me they're not together.
Well, can I just say one thing though? I think Luke's played a blinder, because the amount of freaky people probably messaging on Instagram right at this moment, he's probably living out all his fantasies, isn't he? You know what I mean? Go and make me a boiled egg, and I will come in soon. You know. Anyway,
They're not
you fucking just boiling the kettle for a cup of tea. Fuck off.
Oh, what are you wearing, Dave? Go on, I'll be here. No, anyway, so, no, they're not together. However,
God.
the little spark we saw is Amy and Adam are actually together, because this thing with Alex and Holly, they've been double dating quite a bit, and Amy and Adam have been playing up to it on social media. So the rumor is that when they stay together in the apartment,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. No, I'm not having this, Chris. We're not ending this series with this crap. There's no way she is going for him. I'm
telling you what I've read.
Chris, it's madness.
Yeah, so what this will be let's fuck with people, let's do that, and Adam, he gets all a bit giggly and a bit silly around Amy because he fancies the pants off her. So this is a ploy. There's no way there's anything going on there.
This is to increase their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah,
yes, I agree.
Well, why are you endorsing this, Chris? You're increasing the 15 minutes.
I've read this.
Block them.
So listen, I've read this on at least 4 or 5 articles. This isn't one Google search and we've got a bit of rumours and I've gone with it, which is what I usually do. But the reality radar never misses, Joe. This is again on the radar spectrum. It was there. I'm finishing the show as I started with an unbelievable result. It all come together. I predicted it from the start.
Don't remember that prediction. Do not remember that prediction.
It was off podcast. It was off podcast, Joe. I'm sorry. You weren't privy to the
I live in a world where Nathan and Lacey are not together and Adam and Amy are. You've tipped me over the edge. And let me tell you right now, we're recording this early Sunday morning, and me being tipped over the edge at this stage on a Sunday is not good.
Well, to be honest, Joe, you said about Sasha, you still got time to get to 11 o'clock mass if you want to go and sort of have a word with them about this. Oh God. Oh my God. Well, Joe, one thing before we do all the wrap-ups is, I really want you to watch, if you can put yourself through this, the Australian maths, because that has been, this has been an unbelievable series, but that usually is on a different level to the UK one. And that usually starts just after Christmas-ish. Okay. So honestly, if you can really put yourself through this roller coaster, and it's a big commitment, I know. I would love your thoughts on it.
What's going to be different going forward is I will never watch it in the same way again. Like I honestly, genuinely, throughout the series, really was like, oh yes, some of them are here for love, and if Nathan and Lacey had survived, I would still be saying that now. But I just don't think I'll watch it in the same way again. Don't get me wrong, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I definitely will. Yeah, you hit me up when the next one starts and let me know, and I will watch it again but I will watch it differently. I think
you will. No,
it was great though. I mean, we're obviously cynical, and especially like you mentioned with the experts, but I just think coming in with that fresh perspective and like, oh, these couples are great, aren't they? And they're all here for love. It's been refreshing. So it's a nice contrast to us pair of cynical old farts.
It is.
Part of me wants to go back and listen to the first couple of podcast episodes just to see how naive I was. That also might break me. Who knows?
Yeah, no, but honestly, thank you so much for coming on and going through this. Because when I messaged was like, "Hi, Joe," and we usually do Love Island together, don't we? We've done a few episodes, and you come in and helped us out if one of us isn't there. And honestly, it's been so good. We had to get you back on. You deserve to come back on just for this perspective. I love the way you've just laid into everyone going, "Oh, don't say that." That at the end, perfect. We're going to listen back to that bit about Adam and Amy. Because Joe, you're now going on Instagram and researching all this. I know you are. You're going to be researching because
honestly, after the last episode, I went on Instagram and chose the ones I wanted to follow, and I think I only ended up with Lacey and Nathan because I followed a few and looked at what they'd done, and I was like, no, fuck that, I don't want this in my life. and so I hadn't actually I've not seen the Lacey and Nathan drama. I haven't seen any of that, but they were the only two. And now I'm going to go and unfollow those fuckers and all.
It's the circle of life.
We've got you, Joe. We've got you. Fucking love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you so much, Joe. Where can everyone get you as well if you want to follow you? Because you've got your own podcast as well. So
our podcast is No Shame in a Game. Go and have a listen. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Oh,
actually, I'm curious. How's the planking going, Joe?
Fucking hell. We've done a planking challenge on this podcast, and I started off at 43 seconds. Yesterday, I did 1 minute 20. And
wow.
I've got up to that in 2 weeks. We're in, just over 2. And I've got up to 1 minute 20. So I'm getting there. Dave. Thank you.
That is good.
That is good, Joe. And you know, one of the tips, because I do the plank pretty much every day when I'm doing my yoga stuff, is if you want to get more seconds on the clock, put your left or right leg on top of the other when you're doing it, and you'll be able to get lower, and it doesn't affect your back as much. So you can go longer. Just don't tell anyone else if you're challenging people, you'll get further on. Because I do it all the time. Oh no, the yoga expert. I do yoga every single day. Plank, everything's all part of it's calisthenics based. So I love doing all that. I'm about to do it now with fitness. So you need any tips on fitness? I am actually a qualified personal trainer, but I don't do it anymore. But yes, so any tips like that, please send them my way, and I'll give you all the tips and cheats. So you can actually go, I did it for 5 minutes today, you know.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh no, keep going, Joe. That's amazing. Keep going. Honestly, I love stories like that. It really is a hard exercise to do the plank and sustain it as well. It's difficult. So I'm dead pleased with that. That's great.
I won't be planking today. I'm turning to booze.
I'm on YouTube.